Hey viewers, it's Scott, and as you can tell by the title, I am doing the best assault rifle in Battlefield Hardline. This is going to be the two powerhouses of the operator class, the M416 and M16. And something that you didn't expect, that surprisingly, is very popular, the ACWR. I chose these three guns because of their popularity and their stats, which shows these are obviously the top assault rifles. Normally I would have done the M416 and M16a3, but there was a surprisingly high number of people who wanted the ACWR. The way this will work is people have voted on Reddit for their favorite assault rifles, and I chose the most common ones, and I choose my personal favorite of those two. But in this case, there was an overwhelming amount for all three of these assault rifles, so I decided to do all of them. Let's start off with the M416, the current statistically strongest assault rifle in the game, with a max damage of 28 and a minimum damage of 18. That is the best damage of all assault rifles, and it ties that title with the M16a3. This gun also has the fastest fire rate for all three, 850 rounds per minute, which isn't the best for people who can't control a rifle like this. It also means that it's a bit more deadly in close quarters. However, it does diminish its accuracy at range, unless they decide to put it into single fire mode, and honestly, who does that? This weapon also has a pretty much standard bullet velocity of 600, which is good for an assault rifle that doesn't really advertise long range. Its reload times are decent at 2.6 seconds empty and 2.21 seconds with bullets left. It's not amazing, but they will hold up. However, they do not compare to the M416 from Battlefield 4, which had the fastest reload time of all assault rifles, and I really miss that feature of this glorious weapon from the Battlefield franchise. This weapon's recoil is its weakness. Unlike in Battlefield 4, when it had very little recoil and was ideal for beginners, this weapon has a very heavy top recoil of .53, which makes controlling with uncompensated very difficult. It also has very good side-to-side recoil, however at .05 left and .2 right makes the use of a muzzle brake not that useful. Unlike this, the ACWR or ACR has very little upwards recoil of .25, and very heavy side-to-side recoil of .4 left and .3 right. This is the heaviest side-to-side recoil in the game. With a muzzle brake, which lowers side-to-side recoil, comes with this weapon. I recommend it to be used at all times. Now for the ACWR's fire rate, it comes at an average 800 rounds per minute, which is very controllable but still a bit shaky for new players. It also has a low bullet velocity of 500, but isn't too slow compared to most weapons of the game. Those are mainly close quarters weapons. It doesn't mean that this rifle can't do longer ranges, it just isn't recommended as it is with many assault rifles. This weapon also has the best reload time of all assault rifles of 2.2 seconds empty and 2 seconds with bullets left. The ACWR compares to the M416 from Battlefield 4 because of its diversity, and like it has very little recoil up, but recoil to the sides, and it has the fastest reload time of all assault rifles. This weapon also does less damage than other ARs, like the M416 and M16a3 at 25 damage max and 15 damage minimum. That, like other assault rifles on this list, is still a 4-shot kill at close range, but it does better than another operator weapon, the RO993. What I want to go over next is the highlight of the ACWR, its bullet spread. This weapon does not have very good accuracy while still, but keeps the same accuracy while moving, which is a major advantage in a firefight and could save you if your enemy fires first. The next weapon, and one of the most dear of Battlefield 3 fans, is the M16a3, which has been fully upgraded to a fully automatic rifle since Battlefield 4. The M16a3 has a max damage of 28 and a minimum damage of 18, as I mentioned earlier. It also has the highest bullet velocity of all three of these weapons because of its 650 meters per second bullet velocity, which is a bit above standard and will help a lot in longer range situations. It also has a fire rate of 800 rounds per minute, which is my preferred fire rate. Combined with its slightly above average bullet velocity, this weapon can hold its own at longer distances, but it has its limitations. It also has the worst reload time of the three, with 2.72 seconds for its empty reload time, and 2.38 for its reload time with bullets. This is the worst out of the three, but honestly, it's not that bad. If you compare that to any bulletproof weapon, it beats it by about 1.5 seconds. Like many things about this gun, it is in the middle for most of these tests, and its recoil especially shows that, with 0.5 up, which is very close to the M416's high recoil. Otherwise, it has decent recoil of 0.05 left and 0.225 right. Now on to my personal favorite part. The M416 is a model assault rifle made by Heckler & Koch. It is made from the AR-15 base and is based off the Colt M4 carbine. It was first made in 2004 as a replacement for the M4 for the Army's elite group of special operations, Delta Force. It's since been incorporated into other groups of special operations in the US, such as the Navy SEALs, and is also used by foreign special ops, such as the Polish Grom. H&K USA has made an ambidextrous modification for the rifle called the M16a3, which the Marine Corps has taken interest in and is testing it right now to see if it fits their needs. The ACWR, known in real life as the ACR, is an advanced carbine developed by Bushmaster. It is an update on the Magpul Masada Adaptive Combat Weapon System, for which Bushmaster has made a deal with Magpul that it would take over further production. Since then, only Remington has been seen fit to produce these rifles to militaries worldwide, but it hasn't seen much use in militaries. However, it made it to the second phase of testing for the US's Army's individual carbine competition, calling for a new carbine/assault rifle to replace the M4. It is one of the highest scoring rifles. The program was cancelled in 2013. It has since been forgotten. But this rifle has been popularized in modern culture because of its looks and its overall quality. The M16, on the other hand, is by far one of the most memorable assault rifles in history, famous for being the first rifle to shoot the 5.56 by 45 tornado round, which is now the most common round in the world. It was selected after some advanced testing that began in 1948 to advanced warfare technology. It wasn't until the AO-10 that we saw an advanced assault rifle that could shoot at fully automatic fire with impressive accuracy, but it still shot the 7.62 round, which was proven to be too heavy, so it adopted the modern AO system and formed that into the AO-15, which used 5.56mm ammo, and small amounts were sent to South Vietnam for testing against the communistic North Vietnamese who tried to invade South Vietnam. When the reports came back, the South Vietnamese were praising this weapon in all of its glory. The government then did a comparison test between the AK-47, the M14, and the first model of the M16. The M14 won, but only by subjective scores, and the M16 was eventually chosen as the most advanced. It was then adopted by all US soldiers in Vietnam. It was so advanced that the North Vietnamese would pick up any M16s off of dead US soldiers and use that instead of the older AK-47s. Eventually, in the 1980s, the Marine Corps requested an upgrade to the M16, which is called the M16a2, which its main feature was longer and had improved sights. Later on, the M16a3 was produced, which wasn't that much of an upgrade to the M16a2, except for the select fire. The M16a4 is the newest one. It has a removable killing handle and a Picatinny rail for optics and other attachments. This is likely the gun we see in Hardline, but due to some very odd reason, it's still called the M16a3. Anyways, viewers, on to the last part, and I know it's been a while, but it's almost over. And I've counted the results from a Reddit forum, and there weren't many votes, keep in mind, but there were 4 votes for the M416, which is tied with the M16, and there were 3 votes for the ACWR. So I guess it's up to my vote. I think that the underdog of this group, the ACWR, wins. With such easy to control recoil, nice fluid shots, I couldn't really dislike this weapon, except for its damage model, which is actually better than other carbines. To deal with its side-to-side recoil, all I had to do was put on a muzzle brake, and that was fixed. As for close quarters, it could hold itself up, and at long range, I would move around. I could easily control the rifle and hit snipers. Even though it may not be optimal for long range, it still could do well. I feel the ACWR was really good for beginners. The M16a3 was much better for those who knew what they were doing. I'm somewhere in between. Sometimes it would go on really long and nice kill streaks with this weapon, as you saw earlier in this video. The only thing I didn't really like about the M16 was its unusual recoil and how it handled with shooting while moving. For the M416, I only really disliked its recoil and its rate of fire, which can be accounted for together. Together, it made the rifle very difficult to control at range. However, in only medium range occurrences, did I find that this gun was the best. But when it did happen, there was no doubt that this gun beat every other assault rifle. Anyways, viewers, tell me what you think is the best assault rifle in the comments. Also, like this video and if you don't like it, don't dislike, just tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below. It's been nice, I love doing this series, and goodbye, I guess.